Revenge Part 2. Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
All right, so Revenge was released in July of 2022. Since then, based on polling and media coverage, you described the trajectory of Harry and Meghan's reputations professionally and personally. It feels like they've taken quite a bit of a dive.
Tom Bower, who has been working on the sequel to Revenge for some time, has secured a big money serialization deal with Rupert Murdoch's News UK to The Sun newspaper too.
The royal family would not be coming to Harry's rescue. They would not be funding a divorce to any extent. And they, at this point, wouldn't really care what Meghan tried to say or do, because Meghan has so discredited herself as a liar, a cheat and a phony.
It's not been a quiet week on the royal front, but I will be bringing you news on all that royal news that has an impact on the Prince and Princess of Wales.
A source has told People magazine that Prince Harry is getting frustrated with people comparing him to his uncle Andrew. People magazine, by the way, this is Harry and Meghan's favorite outlet. I'm sure you're familiar with that because I remind you every time we have a People magazine story.
I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Hang on a minute. Every single thing he has written about Meghan and Harry has been a work of fiction.
In addition to his London court wrangle, Meghan was also notably absent, of course, from the King's coronation, MIA, during the promotion of his awful tell-all memoir, Spare. So, Tom, what are you hearing about this? Why is Meghan backing away?
Kickstart on Harry and Meghan's relationship.
Is Meghan about to dump Harry? Tom Bower has been watching this marriage very closely.
They also extend to The Sun newspaper too to reveal the first bombshells from his book, which is expected to further damage the Madam of Montecito.
And what he's found for Revenge 2 might be the most explosive thing he's ever written. You need to hear this.
Does she envisage a divorce between Harry and Meghan Markle? If so, how does she think it will play out and how much is she likely to get? I hear she wants ridiculous amounts, which is ridiculous for the son of a spare. Also, how does she see the children's, and she's put the children's in inverted commas, time being split between them, and how does she think their lives will be if they stay with Meghan Markle? Will Harry want them to know about their royal ancestry?
So Tom Bower has confirmed to the Daily Mirror that he's already got significant new material for a second book. And what he said about the first one is worth hearing.
You write in the book, Harry must be nuts. This is one of the text messages his friends were sending around to each other after Meghan's first introduction to Harry's friends in 2017 during a shooting weekend at Sandringham.
When Revenge first came out, people didn't buy it. They said it was too harsh, too extreme. Some even called it unbelievable. But here's what's interesting. Fast forward to today.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
Tom Bower called Harry and Meghan's story unprecedented. Let that sink in. This isn't a YouTuber chasing views. This is a man who has spent decades investigating powerful public figures. He doesn't throw around dramatic words for attention. So when he says unprecedented, it means something serious is going on.
But I do think that when you're mocked so publicly as they've been, their value begins to nosedive pretty quickly. And I don't think they're finding any more sources of income.
And according to him, it's getting worse. Week by week. The tension, the pressure, the fight for survival, and even revenge. It's all building.
Let me take you through what Tom Bower has revealed. He's told the Daily Mirror, I've got a lot of new material already, And I think the whole world wants new insights. It's an amazing story. It's an eye-wateringly unique story because it's unprecedented. This is such a famous couple who are fighting for themselves all the time. They are relentless and restless, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Now here's where things get really interesting. At the exact moment, Tom Bower steps forward and says, "There's more to this story than ever before." Omid Scobie, Meghan's biggest media defender for years, suddenly walks away. Completely. He's done talking about Harry and Meghan. Just like that.
Tom Bower, he is a very thorough journalist. He has worked on a huge number of bombshell books about a huge number of major personalities. He does his research. He's been at the Invictus Games. He's been following Harry and Meghan around. I know for the first book, Revenge, and I'm very happy to say this, I spoke to him in some detail about what I knew, and I think that the book provided a lot of insight, actually, into the truth about Meghan Markle. Of course, we have been reporting the truth of these things for a long time too, but Harry and Meghan are going to be petrified about the idea of Tom Bower snooping back into their married life, right?
Let's look at the pattern. Her father? Gone. Completely cut off.
Just at the time that odd little bloke, Omid Scobie, who for many years has been the #1 propagandist for the Sussexes, has announced that he's quitting writing Meghan hagiographies altogether. No more is he going to stand up for this woman. Instead, he's writing a fictitious. They have both been wounded. And what's fascinating about them is they don't stop fighting back. And the fight back is just as important as their survival. This battle for survival and the fight for revenge is increasing by the week. A lot of people were skeptical of the first book and couldn't quite believe it. Now more are converted to what I discovered then, and they'll be fascinated by what I've discovered now. So much has changed over the last 3 years, and so many new things have come out about them.
Her first husband, Trevor Engel's son, left behind the moment her career took off with Suits. The Canadian boyfriend before Harry dropped when something better came along.
About what happened to Meghan's mother. I mean, nobody's really talking about that. Meghan lived with her father most of her teenage years. And I'm just wondering, I thought Tom would do it in his last book, but he didn't, so that's obviously a very tricky one. But I hope that this one will come out with that, because I think it's a very, very important thing for us to know, because I think it made Meghan or it didn't make Meghan.
Omid Scobie? For years, he was her voice, her defender, her unofficial spokesperson. He even wrote books from her perspective. But when things started going downhill, when Endgame didn't perform, when the Sussex brand started losing value, he disappeared too. Now he's writing fiction.
Can use people for her own benefit.
Well, that's why I wonder if she
And then-
wants Harry to be weak, you see.
But it's not that she wants him to be weak. She probably no longer sees his purpose. She doesn't see what he can still do for her, because he's done everything. He's given her the title. He's given her fame. What is the next step? And the terrible tragedy which is now unfolding is she dumped her father. She dumped her first husband. She dumped the boyfriend in Canada. She dumps people who aren't in any use to her. Is she going to dump Harry now? Is what we're seeing now the slow motion of Meghan Part 9 as she attempts the next step in her extraordinary career?
And it doesn't stop there. Staff, advisors, people inside the royal family. One by one, relationships fall apart. People leave. Allies go silent. And the most important part? These stories aren't coming from one place. They're coming from everywhere. Tom Bower saw this years ago. In Revenge, he made one argument. Meghan moves toward what benefits her and walks away from what doesn't. And once someone has served their purpose, that relationship ends.
He is honestly reminding me of Michael Jackson these days. He really is. Very, very odd. Very odd what he's trying to do with his looks, given that he claims to be proudly mixed race, and yet he seems to be trying to adjust his appearance to appear more like a white man. Very odd man. And I've got some concerns actually about what's going on with him, Angela, up there, because, you know, he lies about his age. and all of that type of stuff. So you can't believe a word that this guy says. But rather than write a new chapter in his Harry and Meghan trilogy, sort of like, oh, didn't they triumph in Hollywood? Didn't this all work out? He's walked away, Angela, because he knows that's just not a palatable story. His last book was a disastrous flop, Endgame, barely sold any copies. Yeah, he got media attention.
So now the big question is, has Harry reached that point too? Because the signs, they are hard to ignore. Meghan is missing. From key moments, from public appearances, when Harry is going through some of his toughest times. Court battles, media attacks, public criticism. She's not there. No support. No public defense. No visible effort to step in.
She hasn't got the status she craves. She hasn't got the pulling power. He's stuck in California clinging onto his royal status as she is. Harry's thinking is of reconciliation. That's just totally unrealistic. There is zero chance of reconciliation because there is irreconcilable anger on the part of William and Kate.
And for people who've seen this before, it feels very familiar. Tom Bower believes this marriage is facing a serious crisis. And his explanation is simple. Meghan has one clear goal: to become a billionaire celebrity. That's the target.
She hasn't really appeared in person and talked since the whole year. I mean, that is what's extraordinary. It's silent Meghan now, having set him up. But I took from those pictures of him in San Diego this week, here's a man who, when he was in London, was really angry. And I think his court appearance, as disastrous as it was, he doesn't realise how bad it was. There was a cathartic moment.
But Harry? He doesn't understand that world. He never had to. He grew up with wealth, with security, without struggle. He never had to hustle, never had to worry about money. Meghan's story is the opposite. Years of hard work, feeling overlooked, fighting to be seen. And from that came a powerful drive. Money, status, security. Tom Bower says that drive is intense. And Harry? He simply can't relate to it. And this is where things start to break. Because now you have two people living in the same house, but chasing completely different futures. Meghan is building a billion-dollar empire. Harry? He's still thinking about going back to his family, back to what he left behind.
He added, they have a crisis. Meghan wants to be a billionaire celebrity, and Harry doesn't understand that world other than understanding that Meghan wants to be famous. He's spent his whole life never having a penny in his pocket. He's never regularly travelled on the tube, never had to worry about having a car or a job. So he doesn't understand where she's coming from, which is that she worked phenomenally hard, struggled hard, and was constantly humiliated and wants the security of finance and status.
He wants to fix things. He wants some version of his old life again. But Tom Bower is very clear. That door is closed. William and Kate? They are not moving on. They are not forgiving. And time isn't changing that. This isn't temporary. It's permanent. So Harry is holding on to something that no longer exists. And Meghan? She's chasing something Harry can't give her. They are not just disconnected. They are on completely different paths. And while all of this is happening privately, publicly, things aren't going well either. The business ventures? They are struggling. And people are noticing. The candles, $1.60, and no wicks. You couldn't even light them. Social media exploded. The jam launch? Mixed reactions. Mostly negative. Projects get announced loudly. And then quietly disappear. The podcast? Gone. The pattern is obvious. Big launches. No staying power.
I think it's going to be explosive because Meghan Markle can't control this narrative. Tom Bower is incredibly well respected. And at the end of the day, we want the truth. And we can't get the truth from the Royal Rota. We can't get the truth from Meghan Markle or Prince Harry. They are pathological liars. They cherry pick what they want to believe or what they want us to believe.
And it's not just critics saying this. Tina Brown, a respected media figure who once supported Meghan, said something surprising. She said Meghan seems panicked.
I just don't know, because it's so heartless to treat this fellow like this, and I can't see how she could really treat him so appallingly, the father of her children. But her absence from everything is by now seeming pretty suspicious. Her silence since Christmas, really, before Christmas, is really pretty odd. And there's got to be a reason. My suspicion is that she's plotting. I've always said she's going to do something big. We've been saying that now for weeks, so we've still got to wait.
Jumping from one idea to another, not giving anything enough time to grow. She also said something even more telling. Meghan seems to want instant success. Like Beyoncé. Like Michelle Obama. But without the years of work those women put in. And that shortcut? It doesn't exist. What's shocking is, this matches exactly what Tom Bower said years ago. He claimed Meghan struggles to take advice. Not because it's bad, but because she wants control. And Tina Brown confirmed it. People tried to guide her. But eventually, they stopped trying.
And Harry is just, I think, out of his depth. He has no idea anymore what he's being played at. He has no idea the game that he's actually engaged in. And it can only end in tragedy.
Well, and now, here's the twist. Harry is her main advisor. And Harry only listens to her. So now you have two people, not listening to anyone else, making major decisions, inside a bubble. And the results? They are playing out in public. The real question is, what happens when Harry's name stops opening doors? Because that shift, it may have already started. And that's exactly where Revenge 2 is heading.
You guys, there's no wick. Wait, producer Kylie, there's no wick, right? Am I crazy? Where's the thing that I light? This has to be a joke. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. You guys, this isn't a stunt. There's literally nothing to light in here. No, it's not pasted down. My producer's in my ear. Is it pasted down? No, it's not pasted down. Zoom in. There's literally nothing. There's nothing to light on the candle. This is like Meghan Markle's career. Failure to launch. Oh my God. Wait, this is not a joke. I ordered Meghan Markle's candle. There's nothing to light. I literally want a refund. Meghan Markle, send me a freaking refund. So I paid. How much did
Now let's go back to Omid Scobie. Because this part matters. He was their biggest supporter. Their voice in the media. Their storyteller. He co-wrote Finding Freedom. Defended them constantly. Seemed deeply connected to their world. Then came Endgame. Lots of attention. But poor sales. And now? He's gone. No third book. No comeback story. Just fiction.
Brown, in just one moment, she's made a whole load of fascinating new claims, highly respected royal author too.
And Meghan is so determined. She's going back 5 years now, and she wants to get her own back. And it's going to be very difficult for her, but she's going to fight and fight and fight. And Harry is doing that as well. But he's made so many errors that I don't think he'll stand a chance.
Even more surprising, when reports said his deal was 6 figures. He corrected it. 7 figures. Strange thing to announce publicly. But the real story isn't the money. It's what it represents.
Yes, absolutely. There's a brilliant announcement by Tom about what he's going to say and what he's going to reveal. I mean, he's a brilliant writer, but he's also a brilliant advertising himself and, making you to want it and get it sorted before it's even anybody else can see it because it's not quite ready. I mean, he's really brilliant at that. I am very interested in all these things that he's going to show us, but also I want to know, really.
Because once again, the pattern repeats. Useful, then gone. And now, as Scobie steps back, Tom Bower steps forward. That shift? It may decide which version of this story people believe next.
The truth about the babies, the 2 children that we don't really know. So I think there's an awful lot to find out, and I hope that Tom does cover that, as well as them being in a crisis, which actually we can understand immediately because their lives are dreadful, really. When you've got that revenge that you hang on to, no matter what else you do.
Then came the Jordan trip. And this is where things really blew up. Harry and Meghan traveled to the Middle East during rising tensions, a time when the region was already unstable. And people noticed immediately, because for years, Harry has argued he isn't safe in the UK without security. It's been central to his legal battles. But now, he travels to a high-risk region, and suddenly, that concern disappears. The contradiction was impossible to ignore.
But didn't sell anything, didn't sell anywhere near as much as one of your books, for example. And now he's given up on writing about the truth. He's actually going to be writing a fictitious tale of a handsome prince within the royal family. And how cringe is this, Angela? When the Daily Mail wrote a puff piece about this, talking about how he had signed a 6-figure deal for this book.
The backlash was strong. Even diplomatic concerns were raised. And once again, Meghan stayed quiet, low profile. Harry faced the storm alone. Tom Bower describes them as restless, always moving, always doing something, never stopping. And this trip? Perfect example. Now look at the other side. Prince William. He's stepping into one of the biggest moments of his life, representing King Charles. At the funeral of Pope Francis, world leaders, global attention, and William, calm, prepared, in control. Exactly what you'd expect from a future king.
The guy actually posted on X saying it was actually 7, but who's counting? And I thought, you are so crass, you are so tacky, you're just like Meghan Markle. Nothing is about the truth, nothing is about doing good work, nothing is about credibility. It's all about the moolah.
And the contrast? It's impossible to ignore. Tom Bower has always said, Harry is holding on to a royal identity that is slowly fading. And every time William steps up, that reality becomes clearer. What Harry walked away from is becoming more obvious every week. So here we are, February 2026. Tom Bower was right before. Revenge 2 is coming. The pattern is clear. The pressure is building. And the story? It's far from over.
Angela, but it's interesting, isn't it, when you think Tom Bower's writing this new book, Scobie is not even trying to write a new book about Harry and Meghan because he knows it's just so bad.
Yes, I think that he is also got quite a lot of feeling of revenge because he was quite close to Meghan, wasn't he, for quite a long time? And they were near and he would go and see her a lot and talk about it. And he was her voice.
And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were probably going to get their best news cycle in years because we know deep down they want to bring down the British royal family. Instead, in the midst of the biggest royal crisis in a century, these two grifters and fake have decided this is the moment to embark on a new fake royal tour, this time of the Middle East, where she's literally trying to claim she's the queen of the desert in Jordan.
He said that they've made him feel part of the family, even though they haven't known him for so long. And I think that that's an extremely moving, wonderful thing for a man who had a very difficult upbringing, and that he felt that he could be part of his girlfriend's then family. And he's enjoyed them ever since. That's why they go away together, and that's why they spend a lot of time together.